Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be making strawberry jam, but first I had to run to the store. I went to Publix and then Dollar General, so I kind of wanted to show y'all what I got. For the strawberry jam, I got some lemon juice. I got the Lakewood Organic Pure Lemon, not from concentrate. It's just easier to use this than squeezing a bunch of lemons, plus you know the acidity. Then I also got some Santa Cruz Organic Pure Lime Juice. I'm hoping to also make some cherry limeade concentrate. Then I got 2 boxes of the Sure Gel Pectin. I already had 2 boxes, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough. So I got those. And then just random, I got 2 packs of the gluten-free sweet yellow cornbread or corn muffin mix. I've never tried this kind before, and they were buy one get one free, so I got those. Then I got this little top you can put on the top of like a mason jar. I have a really big mason jar downstairs, so I'm going to use this top for that, and we can make like lemonade, juice, spa water, things like that. So I'll get that washed up. Then I went to the Dollar General, and the Dollar General has like a Dolly Parton line of like home stuff, and me and Kason have talked about getting these like little baskets once or twice. These little baskets are perfect for like burgers. If you don't want to do a bunch of dishes, you can put a piece of like parchment paper down in there, or wax paper, or whatever. They were $1 each, and they had 9 left, so I just got 9 of them. I will hand wash those just to be safe. She also has, Dolly Parton's line, has this little coffee scoop. It's gold or like a brass color. And the cool thing is, one, it was only $2. So there's the scoop, but it's a clip. So you can clip your coffee ground bag closed. And so I'll get that washed up and put that on a coffee bar. And then, I don't know, oh, this is the Comfort Bay line at Dollar General. And this was $3. Let me get the sticker off the bottom. And it's just got like this woven coastal look. So this is gonna go in the bathroom downstairs, or down here on the main level. So yeah, that was my little haul. But now I'm going to get ready. I have all of my stuff out for the strawberry jam. I wanted to make sure that I was prepared. I have a few jars right here, but I have some more jars behind me. I have my canner, my water bath canner. It's the Ball water, the Fresh Tech, I think it's the Fresh Tech water bath canner. Which I think is the Ball water bath canner, if that's what the lid says. I'm also going to be using the less sugar pectin, the Sure Gel. That way it's still a bunch of sugar, but it's not 8 cups of sugar versus it's 4 cups of sugar. I am going to be following the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving, the first one, not the new one that they came out with recently. This is the first book. I'm going to be following that recipe for the strawberry jam. That's the one that I've made like the last 3 years, and it works out really well, and everybody seems to love it. It's one of everybody's favorite things that I give them for like gifts and stuff. And it's Kason's favorite, and he likes the less sugar better than the regular sugar, and so do I. So I will be following that recipe with the Sure Gel. So with the less sugar Sure Gel. So instead of doing the 7 or 8 cups of granulated sugar, I will do 4, but I will use this pectin, fruit pectin instead. And then this calls for, let me see. Yep, so I would use 1 box of this, And then it says 3 quarts of fruit and 4 cups of sugar, and that would make 8 8-ounce jars. I have a variety of sizes. I'm pretty much just gonna do that, like a variety of them. I have a ton of strawberries. Most of them I prepped already and they're frozen. So I have this big bag. I'm just gonna measure these out as I do this. I'm gonna start with measuring out for 1 batch, which would be 8 cups of whole strawberries. These are cut in half, so I'm just gonna measure out 8 cups and maybe I'll double it. I might have enough for that. I do have a couple of whole strawberries that do still have the tops on them, so if these thaw out a little bit, I'll be able to cut the tops off. And then I have the tops from all of those strawberries in separate bags. I'm going to make strawberry syrup, and we are also going to be canning strawberry syrup. Now, if you've seen my video from last year I canned strawberry syrup, but one of my jars broke because I was being lazy and I didn't heat up my jars in the canner before I put the hot liquid in there, and then I put the jar back in the canner. It was the whole thing. It busted, whatever. We're not doing that this year. All of the jars that I'm going to be using are going to get heated up. It might take a little bit longer. That's the proper way to can. Last year, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe like the contents of the syrup were hot enough and it made the jar hot. That was dumb. That was a dumb mistake. Definitely follow, if you're going to be canning stuff, follow the guidelines in the recipe book that you're using online at the Ball website. I have a few different cookbooks that I use for canning, so just get yourself a good cookbook, a good recipe, and follow those instructions. I do have several lids, lid sizes, so I have wide mouth jars and regular mouth jars, and I use the 4 jars canning lids. So I'm going to be using these canning lids. They're some of the best canning lids, not sponsored or anything. They are some of the best canning lids. I will say I've had more failed like lid seals with the regular Ball canning lids than I have with the 4 jars lids. I think with 4 jars I've only had one not seal properly, and I think that was my fault. I think that I didn't clean the rim enough or whatever. It had seal, probably had jam or something on it. I didn't clean it well enough. That was on me. So I have my 2 Dutch ovens back here. I'm going to start measuring out and following the instructions. Start measuring out these strawberries and get those going because they are frozen. They're going to need to, you want them to be mushy and break down. I'm going to need to heat those up first. But the instructions, I'll go ahead and read to you the first few steps. It says place 8 clean 8-ounce jars on a rack in a boiling water canner. You can also use large deep saucepan or stock pot that is at least 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters deep than the height of the jars. Fill the jars and canner with cool water that reaches the top of the jars. Cover and bring water to a simmer over medium heat. Do not boil. And then it says prepare 8 2-piece closures. Wash lids and bands in hot soapy water. Rinse them under hot water, dry, and set aside until ready to use. Measure sugar into a bowl and set aside. Sugar is added to the boiling jam all at once, so measuring it ahead of time prevents error in quantities and eliminates cooking delays. So what we're going to do right now, since I've already read that, I'm going to set this Sure Gel back here. We're going to set the juices back here. I won't need the lime juice. Won't need the lime juice just yet. We're going to focus on strawberries first. And then if we can, which I highly doubt we will, get to the cherry limeade concentrate. We will probably do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm also planning on making some more bone broth that I will freeze. So I will not be canning the bone broth. I will be freezing the bone broth. But I have a lot of stuff and we'll be doing that in the crock pot. So, okay, it says we need to get our jars in the canner and they need to be filled with cool water. My canner has some water in it right now, but it's off. I don't have it on preheating or anything yet. So let me get these filled up. I do want to have a couple of these half pint jars. These are good for gifts. I like to give gifts. This is, honestly, y'all, I don't even know, but I will be filling this one up with jam as well. I don't know if I will refill this one. So I'm gonna set that one aside. I have plenty over here that I can use. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting these filled up and put in my canner. That way they can start getting warm. And then we will measure out our sugar and our strawberries. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 pint jars, 1 half pint jar, and then that longer jar in here. And once I measure out my strawberries and get them on the stove, I will also turn that on because I don't want that to get to a rolling boil. If you do hear anything in the background, it's my dishwasher. So I will set this one aside though. All right, so now it says to measure out the sugar so there's no error. So I'm just gonna use this bowl, and my nose is itchy. I feel like there's like dog hair on my nose. Got out all my measuring cups, but the less sugar Sure-Jell calls for 4 cups of sugar, not 7. So we're gonna do 4 cups. That went over a little bit. 1, 2. All right, 4, maybe a little over 4. That's all right. I can feel, like, taste the sugar in the air. All right. This is only for 1 batch of strawberry jam. That is not a double batch. That is a lot of sugar, but that's what makes it shelf stable. It's jam. That's what we're here for, right? Okay, in a colander, place over a sink, wash strawberries. We've already done that. Okay, so it says to mash the strawberries using a potato masher, but these are frozen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure these out. And then I'm gonna put them in my pot back here. And all of these are getting used today, so that can be completely cut. Okay, so it says 8 cups of whole strawberries. So I'm gonna let me bring my pot over here. Let me move y'all actually. Dadgummit. Okay, so I brought y'all over here. It's gonna be easier for me to show y'all. 8 cups of strawberries. These are frozen, so I'm gonna get, that's gonna be a cup. That's not quite a cup. Here, that'll make 2 cups. Go ahead and get this turned on. Okay. That'll be 2 cups, 3 cups, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's gonna be 8. All right, so this is 8 cups in here. Now I need to do a little bit of. Okay, so this is gonna get cooking down. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna measure out this other one to see how many strawberries we actually have left in this bag. It looks like we used over a little bit more than half, but I'm just gonna measure it and see, because if I can make 2 batches, that'd be good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna call that 8. Okay, so yeah, it looks about even. So we have 2 batches going, so I'm gonna measure out 4 more cups of sugar in this other bowl. Okay, in this bowl, I'm going to measure out that other 4 cups of sugar. So this is a half a cup scoop. The last one was a cup scoop, but because I used it with the frozen strawberries, it was wet. So I'm going to use the half cup. So I need 4 cups of sugar. So this is half. This is 1. 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Trying to use up the open sugar that I already have. right, that was 2.5. This will be, that'll be 3, 3.5, and 4. So that's 4 cups of sugar. So we have both sugars ready for our strawberry mixture. Put this back in this bag. And I have plenty of sugar gel. So there's 2 for that. And then we have our lemon juice over here. Let me go ahead and turn this on. Turn that on high so that I can get going. And bring our other sugar over here. And so these are cooking up right now so that they can break down and get all mushy. That's how you want it. I am going to, what we're going to do is once these get nice and hot and they start getting more mushy, I'm going to use a potato masher to kind of smash them down a little bit more. Up a little bit. Okay, these are starting to heat up over here quite a bit. I'm going to turn it down and start mushing them. They are going to be nice and watery. This eye is smaller, so that one's not, they're not cooking near as fast. Plus I had this one turned on a minute or 2 before that one. They are still very much frozen in this spot. That one, they're about halfway. So I'm just going to stir them around so nothing burns and mush what I can. Okay, now I'm going to read my recipe. Okay, it says crushed berries, add lemon juice to crushed berries in saucepan, whisk in pectin until dissolved. Bring to a full rolling boil over high heat, stirring frequently, add sugar all at once. Okay, so what we're doing, once these strawberries get good and mush, we'll add the lemon juice and then we'll whisk in the pectin. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a whisk out. Go ahead and open up my lemon juice and shake it up. And let's see, how much lemon juice does it call for? 4 tablespoons. I'll go ahead and get my tablespoon out. Got that ready. So really now we're just waiting on these to get nice and smushed up. This one is almost there, but I want my strawberries not to be completely whole. I want them to be like spreadable. It smells so good. I got these strawberries this year from one of my friends and neighbors. Their daughter was doing like a fundraiser for a band, and my friend was getting strawberries, and I was like, well, you know what, it's a really good price, it's for a good cause. So I got like a whole pallet, which was not as big as it sounds. I think it was like 8. It was either 8 or 16 1-pound containers like you would get at the grocery store. And I think I did 16 of them. That's what it seems like. Washed them all up and put them in the freezer because I didn't know when I was going to be able to do the jam, and I had a bunch in my pantry already, but I've been giving it away recently and we've been eating it, so I feel like it was time. And plus it gets it out of the freezer. So that's why also tomorrow I'm going to be putting some bone broth in a crock pot, and it's more like going to be like a stock, like a beef stock, because there will be vegetables. I think I have onions, celery, carrots, that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to make a good stock, broth, whatever you may call it, because we use that up a lot. And I made deer broth earlier in the year, this year, and we've already pretty much went through that and the chicken stock that I made. So it would be nice to get more in the freezer and get it in the freezer in that sense, but get the actual bags of stuff out of the freezer. And that way it's just ready for us to go. All we'll need to do is throw it in a pot or in the microwave to thaw it out, or let it sit out overnight. This pot is getting nice and mushed up, so I will be adding I'm going to go ahead and let me work on this one a minute, and then I'll add the lemon juice to that first pot. I'm being very brave not wearing an apron. I meant to put one on and then I got going and forgot. But it is a good thing I'm wearing a red, just in case. Okay, I'm gonna let that one go a little bit more. I'm gonna turn this one down, and then I'm gonna do the 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1 whole bag of this pectin. And we will whisk it in. Okay. And you can leave your strawberries as smushed up as you want. Honestly, I like to leave it to where there's a little bit of like actual fruit, like if I'm putting it on toast or something. I like to have a little bit of like the actual bite of fruit on there. That's how I did it last year, and it was really nice. Okay, so I've added the pectin, I've added the lemon juice, and then it says bring to a full rolling boil over high heat, stirring frequently, add sugar all at once. Okay, so we are going to turn this up on high heat. I'm trying to get that strawberry off of there. And it just says stir frequently. Our water in our water bath canner is getting there, getting those jars all nice and hot. Okay, so while that one is coming to a boil, I'm gonna keep, these are good and thawed. Keep mashing these, and then I will do the same thing I just did in that first pot, I will do in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our pectin. Whisk. Okay, and now this one needs to come to a rolling boil as well. So rolling boil means that when you stir it, the boil doesn't go away. It's continuously rolling. If you have a boiling pot and you stir it and the boil goes away, then that is not a rolling boil. So this one is at a rolling boil. So we're going to stir in all of the sugar. And it says you want to stir it all in at the same time. So that's what I'm doing. And then you want to return it to a full rolling boil that cannot be stirred down. Boil hard, stirring constantly for 1 minute, remove from heat, and use a large slotted metal spoon, skim off foam. And then we'll get our jars out and start to fill the jars. So once I feel like the sugar is dissolved in this one, you can also add butter to help with the foam. I'm not going to do that. I don't care about foam. Foam does not bother me. It does not bother anybody else that I usually give jam to. So I'm not going to spend my time worrying about the foam. This one's not at a rolling boil quite yet. This one needs to get back up to a rolling boil. So if you're not familiar with cooking or canning or making jam, when you put something new into a pot, whether it's liquid or solid, it brings down the temperature of the contents in the pan or the pot. So that's why whenever I put the sugar in here, it reduced the temperature of the actual contents in the pot, and it needs to come back up to a rolling boil. So that is why that one is not at a rolling boil anymore. I'm going to turn this down just a little because it's very hot and it's kind of hurting my hand. We're just going to stir. Okay, so that one's all stirred in. So we're going to stir both of them. The reason why you want to constantly stir it, and you can take like small breaks, is so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. That's like the worst thing that we could do when we're making jam, is burn it on the bottom. You do not want burnt jam. A piece of strawberry is not wanting to come off. Okay. I really want this to, it's starting to boil, and I really want it to get back up to a rolling boil, and then we'll let it boil for 1 minute. And if you feel like you need to test this to see if it actually firms up like jam, I would highly recommend putting it on a plate, like a regular plate, not a paper plate, but a regular plate, and putting it in the freezer for like a minute or two. It won't freeze it, but it'll show you if you need to add more pectin or more sugar, essentially, to get it to firm up. I've had to do that in the past when I didn't have like an even amount of ingredients. Okay, so this one's at a rolling boil, so I'm gonna stir it for a minute. It's 5:19. I'm gonna stir it until it's 5:20, and then I will remove it from the heat. Now, my least favorite part is coming up, and that is getting the jars out of the canner. I'm so short. I feel like I'm just gonna hurt myself. Because you have to like dump the water out of the jars and... Okay, so this one is, I'm gonna turn off. So this one is off. I'm gonna let it sit there for a second. Move this. I need this one to come up to a rolling boil. And it looks like we're getting there right now. Almost. Okay, so it's 5:21. We're going to stir it until it's 5:22. It's 5:22. We're gonna turn this heat off, and I'm hot. It is hot in here. Of course, I choose to do jam on one of the hottest days of the year so far, but it is the evening time. So, okay, now we need to get the jars out of the canner. that the strawberry jam is almost done, I'm gonna work on strawberry lemonade concentrate, not strawberry syrup. And instead of using whole strawberries, I'm gonna use strawberry tops. Now I'm taking the jars out of the canner very carefully, setting them on this towel so they're not directly on the countertop. Trying to get as much water off the tops as possible, but if not, I'll go through and I'll just dab it with a paper towel. All right. Okay, so I have all of these out. They need to sit for 24 hours. I turned my canner off. I will turn it back on in a minute. It is very hot in here. Transfer. To get warmed up. Now I'm just essentially pushing this mixture through to get as much of the strawberry flavor as possible. This would be different if I just use full whole strawberries because I would just puree them. To make sure I get out. Now I'm just trying to get out any of the leaves that slipped through. hopefully that is it. And now I'm essentially just going to use the rest of this. And that should also help me find any more strawberry tops. And then I need to do the sugar. One. Two. Three. Four. 5. One more cup. I just got sugar all over my shoe. So we're going to stir this until everything is good and dissolved, and then we're going to heat it to like 190. This bacon is for dinner. I have green beans on the stove. So it says not to boil this, but to heat it to like 190. sample of the strawberry lemonade concentrate made into lemonade. So much better than my last time. This is the final of the strawberries. So we got 5 pints of the strawberry lemonade concentrate. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pints of the strawberry jam, 2 half pints, another half pint here, and then once again, I need to learn what that size is. We have one of those in the strawberry jam. So I tested all of these. They're all sealed really well, except this one. Something happened when I went to pull it out of the canner and the lid slipped. So this one's gonna go in the freezer, and then this half pint's gonna go in the freezer. But all of these are sealed, and these will go in the pantry. I also made a short video of the cherry limeade concentrate, and I'm just gonna freeze it. So right now I have it in my super cube tray. I just did the cherries, lime juice, and sugar. I did 3 cups of sugar, and I cooked it on the stove until it reached like 190, and now I have it sitting in my super cubes cooling off. Once it gets like almost all the way cool, I will put it in the freezer and freeze that, and then I will vacuum seal them individually. So we can just pull them out and thaw them out whenever we want cherry limeade. Also, my nails are stained from the cherries, but all of that is done.